Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We're going to take a look at the Callidus Assain, which is part of the Agents of Imperium Index. They come with a plethora of core abilities to get the most out of them. They've got a decent pistol weapon that doesn't actually have the pistol keyword, and the melee profile is actually quite nice. They've got a really good ability to increase CP for your opponent, making them pay attacks, and they've got a nice out of phase movement ability. Taking a look at the datasheet, they come in at 90 points per model. As they are an epic hero, you can only take one model per army. They come with a movement characteristic of 7 inches, toughness 4, 6 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6 and 1 objective control. They come with a really nice 4 up and vulnerable save as well. They've got plenty of core abilities to help you out. The first of which is Deep Strike, which allows you to set up anywhere from reserves outside of 9 inches of an enemy model. Next, they have the Fight First ability, which allows you to be in the first tier of the fight phase. So if you do get charged, you get to choose who goes first, and it will be you. Next up, they have Infiltrators. So in the deployment stage, you can decide to set this model up in no man's land rather than Deep Strike, and you have to be 9 inches outside of the enemy deployment zone or an enemy model. Finally, they have Lone Operative. This means that they cannot be targeted by range attacks outside of 12 inches. Taking a look at their range profile, they have one option available. They come equipped with a Neuro Shredder, which has the anti-infantry 2+ keyword, so you always wound infantry on a 2+. Precision, so you can target characters that are leading the unit. And Torrent, which means your weapon auto hits the target. It comes with a 12-inch range, D6 attack, strength 5, -2 AP and 1 damage. For the melee profile, it comes in at weapon skill 2. They come equipped with Phase Sword and Poison Blades. It has the lethal hits keyword, so on a critical hit you automatically wound the target. And Precision, so once again you can target enemy characters that are leading units. They come with 5 attacks, strength 5, -4 AP and 2 damage. Moving over to their abilities, they come with 2 abilities. The first being Reign of Confusion. This allows you once per battle. When your opponent uses a stratagem, you can increase the cost of that stratagem by 1 CP, and it will cost +1 for the rest of the game. Finally, they have Polymorphine, so at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range, you can move it from the battlefield, and it can then Deep Strike during your next movement phase. As you can see, the Callidus is bundled with an assortment of core abilities, keywords, as well as good abilities to get the most out of the character. They are slightly pricey, maybe at 90 points, potentially not, when you consider they've got a 4 up and vulnerable save, they've got a decent range weapon, they've got decent melee attacks, they've got a CP tax for your opponent, and they've got a lot of movement shenanigans so they can move around the battlefield, scoring you victory points. So even though 90 points might on face value seem slightly expensive, they're probably actually quite a reasonably priced unit at the moment. So what buffs and combos can you give to the Callidus Assain? There's no direct buffs from Agents Imperium because there are no faction detachment rules or army rules, so you're not benefiting in that manner whatsoever. There's also no abilities within the Codex from any of the other characters that will buff the assassins. The codexes and indexes that you can potentially ally with and include this model, all their abilities, war gear, stratagems are tied to faction keywords. They will not influence this model. However, there is a nice little tax you can pay, make your opponent pay, when you take Space Marines Shadow War Veteran war gear, which can be found in the Vanguard Spearhead detachment. This allows you to increase the cost of a battle tactic stratagem by 1 CP. So essentially you can pull this move twice in a game on one stratagem to increase the cost by 2 CP. So if they got, say for example, a command reroll, this would now be costing them 3 CP for the entire game, which is a massive tax. And if you don't want to use it on that, you can use it on 2 separate battle tactics, making them cost an additional 1 CP, which is a massive tax for them. In the Imperial Guard Index, Korov Zaquilla also has the same ability, so you can make them pay the same CP tax. So there's not really an awful lot else you can do. They're mainly here to be used as a CP tax for your opponent, making every decision they make actually cost them more CP, potentially making them not use stratagems that are going to benefit them because they think they're just too expensive and they've got other plans later on, which might be very costly for them. They've also got a lot of movement shenanigans, so they're going to be moving around scoring your victory points by either primary or secondary missions. being able to remove themselves at the end of your opponent's turn and come into your movement turn, they're going to be able to score you a lot of points in this manner. Their core abilities are really nice. Having that fight first ability and lone operative means that if you do sit them on an objective, the enemy has to get within 12 inches to be able to shoot her, and she's got that 4-up invulnerable save. And if they do charge her, she has the fight first ability, so she will be going first. All in all, I'm quite impressed with this datasheet. I don't think it's too powerful for the damage output. They balanced it well with a lot of nice abilities. If they give her a better ranged weapon and better in melee, and potentially an ability to increase how she acted in melee, she'd probably be quite an expensive character at that point. So coming in at 90 points for all the abilities she can bring to the table, and the fact that she is a victory point scoring machine, she's in a really good place at the moment. When they eventually release the Codex for Agents Imperium, I can imagine she's either going to go up in price or potentially have a slight nerf to one of her abilities here or there, because she's packed with abilities and keywords. Check out these other videos, subscribe to the channel, see you next time.